Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at something out of an old Dragon magazine, number 87. We're going to take a look at Luna, the moon of Earth, in Traveler. It's a nice little article from 1984 by Mark Miller that goes into the history of Luna and what you can do on it as an adventurer. It's a neat little article. I copied this and keep it with my Traveler stuff. So today on page 121, I'll look at Luna in the game of Traveler. Okay, we're going to take a look at Luna in Traveler as presented in Dragon magazine. This was a neat time for Dragon. This particular issue was out in July of 84. So this is during the classic Traveler era. I was very active with Traveler and D&D when this issue was published. And this is part of their Ares section. The Ares magazine had not really succeeded, so TSR rolled it into a feature in Dragon magazine. Come on. There we are. So Ares had its own science fiction gaming section. And this lasted for a couple of years, and this was actually a pretty cool idea. A lot of good science fiction stuff in here for Gamma World, Star Frontiers, Traveler, Champions, the Marvel Superheroes game. There's a bunch of information in the Ares section of these particular issues of Dragon. The one I care about today, here we have a nice Star Frontiers article about stellar law. Here we go. Luna, a Traveler's Guide. The moon in the Traveler game. This is pretty neat because we get a look at the moon during the golden age of the Imperium. This would be sometime presumably around 1105. And the Soleimani Rim War has come and gone about 100 years earlier. This is one of the better depictions of the Soleimani Rim War. Right here, Rim of Fire from GURPS. But the Soleimani Terra, Earth, has been occupied by the Imperium. And the Soleimani, the men of Sol, have been forced out and are away from Terra, but plotting their evil plots to overthrow the Imperium, etc., etc. But this is a nice look at what it would be like to be on the moon during that time. It's pretty cool. Here are all the stats of what the moon, where it starts, and all the information on the moon itself. Copernicus Down Spaceport is their overview. We have, it's a province of Terra, as if it were on the planet. It's treated more like a continent. It has self-rule as per the Imperium's rule over Terra at the time. Since the conclusion of the Soleimani Rim War, Terra system's been under stewardship for the Imperial military governor. The idea being that one day they're going to hand the government back to the native Terrans, and they'll no longer be a conquered province. And then we get down to the population and demographics. 8 million people live in 3 major population settlements: Archimedes, Copernicus, and Plato. Additional settlements are set up at mines of Sinus Iridium and the Montes Apennines. The oldest settlement is Archimedes, and we get the details on that. And then we get to Copernicus, and 2.2 million people live in Copernicus. There's an academic section that's set up in Plato, which is pretty appropriate. And there's it's the main campus for the University of Luna, regarded as one of the top schools for high energy physics and astronomy in the Terra system. It's the intellectual center of Luna in Plato, with local video, plays, and concerts continually being produced by faculty and students. The Lunar Court of Appeals also holds its sessions at Plato. The remaining settlements on Plato are specialized areas devoted to specific activities. Clavius is a modern high-tech industrial park. This is run by GSBAG, commonly called by players Gasbag Mega Corporation. I'm going to give the name a try, but I have no promises on this one. It's Geschichtstkreis Sternschiffbau AG, also known as GSBAG, or as we always called it, Gasbag. Gasbag is the main megacorp on Terra, which is kind of interesting. Of course, megacorps always make good Traveler story hooks. So we go to Farside Station, which is scientific research branch of the University of Luna. It's on the dark side of the moon, and it specializes in light, energy, and particle development and study. And some of it has military applications, so visiting is restricted. The transport networks. We have the famous monorail. Why not? The Simpsons did it, so why shouldn't this guy? So we have the monorails, and grav vehicles are limited on Terra because Terra is not that big. There's 8 million people living here. If everybody was driving their own car, it'd be kind of a mess. So it's public transportation for the most, and then there are some monorails. There's almost no ground traffic because Terra has no atmosphere. Of course, if you have ground traffic, the tire tracks never go away. You just always have them there. And we go into some of the politics of Terra, where it was originally a colony of the United States of America and then passed through different hands, then came out of the United Nations. And then during the Soleimani Rim War, it was used initially as a staging base for the Soleimani, and then later was used as an imperial base. The imperial base was established in the early 1000s, the early 1000s, and is still there to be handed over when the imperial government releases Terran space back to the Men of Sol sometime. It's given in here as 1111. I actually don't remember that happening. I'd have to do a little more research on that. I don't know that ever got turned over prior to the assassination of Strephon in 1116. So we go to a little bit more about the history of the moon itself, and then the military bases on the moon, and then we come to the referee, the game hooks. Again, you look at this and you say, well, it's pretty settled. There wouldn't be much you can do. Aha, wrong. There's a couple here. Of course, Gasbag is an old respected megacorp with its origins on Terra and Luna. The archives of Gasbag are located on Luna at Plato. So there could be reason for you to go to that. Maybe you need some information out of the archives. Maybe a rival corporation wants some old papers that for whatever reason now could be turned into some kind of evidence against Gasbag. There is an abandoned imperial base at Maricritium. Might also be mothballed with equipment. Maybe you could crack in there and swipe some stuff. And then, of course, you've got the grav traffic strictly controlled on Terra, which means you can only get around by public transportation, but maybe the players have access to grav traffic on Terra, and they can use that for whatever purpose they have, or maybe they can rent themselves out as kind of an Uber for a grav vehicle for someone that needs to go someplace else on Terra, or on Luna. It's just a neat article. It really kind of toys with your imagination. Right around this time in Dragon, they did several articles about the moon in science fiction. I know they did a really good one on Gamma World. What's happened to the Luna colony in Gamma World. This was a great time for Dragon in the 80s. I loved the Ares section, and I really enjoyed this article. As I said at the top, I copied this, and this goes into my standard Traveler stuff. I've never really run anything on it, but I love reading this. I think it's a very well-written article by Mark. I think he did a nice job on this, and it's, of course, from the classic era. So that's all I've really got to say. I just want to mention one other thing, and that is the Ares section of Traveler. Oh, neat little ad for Traveler right there at the end of the Traveler story or Traveler article. We get a nice look here for Gamma World again for plants of macrobes and plants of Tycho Center, which is the base on the moon in Gamma World. I want to take a look here at the Ares section itself. Here we go. We got the table of contents. There were a bunch of Star Frontiers articles run in Dragon Magazine, primarily in the Ares section. I'm interested in taking a look at a few of them. Let me know if there's any interest in me doing that. I try to make videos that, frankly, are going to get some views, and I try to avoid ones that I don't think there's a lot of interest in. So I would need some feedback on this one if there's any interest in me diving into the Star Frontiers articles out of Dragon Magazine. If there is some interest, just please put a comment, say, yes, I'd like to see them, or no, I'm not interested. And if I don't get any feedback, I'm going to take that as a lack of interest, and I'll pretty much pass on it. So it's in your hands as to whether I follow this up or not. It's really up to you. So that's all I've got to say today on page 121. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.